This is the plaintiff, David Zimmerly. He says he rented from the defendant and was shocked and outraged to discover he was not only paying for the heat in his apartment, he was paying for the apartment above him as well. When he complained about it, the defendant told him he was a bit too immature and didn't care to deal with him. Huh? Bottom line, he moved out and is now suing the guy for the $1,396 he's owed. This is the defendant, Muhammad Alaga. He says the plaintiff was responsible for making sure there was oil in the tank, so his apartment and the apartment above him had heat. The plaintiff didn't pay attention to it, ran out of oil, and both apartments lost heat, and he had to call for an emergency delivery. Bottom line, the plaintiff decided to break his lease, moved out early, and isn't entitled to get all of his security back. He's accused of being slick.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant double charged him for heat in the apartment, but the defendant says, it's the case of petulant over the petroleum.
Okay, David Zimmerly, you are suing your former landlord, Muhammad Alaga?
Yes.
Okay, for $1,396, double the security deposit of $698 that you say is owed to him by you, double because of you feel that it was wrongfully withheld, and under New Jersey statute, that would be a possible result. Tell me what's going on.
Well, Your Honor, I signed a lease in July of 2010, a one-year lease for the first floor of Mr. Alaga's house. The first floor is where Mr. Alaga lived, and the upstairs is a converted apartment. Wrote Mr. Alaga 2 checks totaling the $1,298, which is stipulated in the lease as the security deposit. Now, everything was fine. I lived there for about 6 months. In December of 2010, Mr. Alaga asked me to leave, stemming from a dispute we had over who owed what as far as the heating costs of the apartment.
Tell me about that.
Okay. When I moved in, Mr. Alaga said that it's an oil-heated house. The amount of oil that goes in a tank is between, I think it's 800 or 1,000 gallons. Mr. Alaga insinuated that he would fill that tank before winter started. Now, November comes around.
How did he insinuate that?
He said, I will fill the tank.
That's not insinuating.
Okay,
go on.
So when November came around and it was getting winter time, I asked him if he was going to put it in. He put 200 gallons of fuel in, which is probably good for about a month and a half. And he said now it was on me.
Did you pay for 200 gallons?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I didn't want to mess anything up with the second floor tenant, so I chose to pay a little bit of the heating costs for Mr. Zimmerly as he took over the apartment downstairs.
What does that have to do with the upstairs tenant?
Well, because all his heating costs were paid for in his...
Oh, you don't have separate meters?
No.
Okay, so it's not a matter of heating costs. What it is that the upstairs tenant doesn't get heat if somebody doesn't fill it up.
On the first floor.
All right, now I'm getting it. All right, so then...
Also, Your Honor, the electrical was also on the same.
The electrical also, so is that a legal apartment or it's an illegal?
Yes, it is.
How can you do that without having separate meters?
That's the way when I bought the house, that's the way it was.
No, okay, but that may be exactly how you bought it, but how can it be a legal apartment? Do you have a CO for it? Do you know?
I believe I do.
Would you ever rent a place where the bill is screwed up, where you're paying for the upstairs too?
We did one time, and the landlord tried to bill us for it. So we're actually trying to sue her right now.
I'm going to get that as a no, that you would never do it again, right?
No, never.
Exactly. Going inside the courtroom.
You believe you do. This is the kind of thing, this is like being a little bit pregnant, but
yeah.
All right, so go on.
After he told me that, I contacted him a day or so later, and I said, this really wasn't a fair agreement. He's the tenant upstairs, has all his heat paid for. So we agreed to split costs. And the next month, I filled the tank, or I put 200 gallons in the tank. And at that point, Mr. Alaga came in to collect that month's rent. He said he had to talk, and he kind of sat me down. He said that you're really not mature as I thought you were, and that this really wasn't working out for him anymore.
Okay.
And that he was going to move back in, and he said I should move to the upstairs apartment.
Because I guess that guy was leaving?
Yeah, he left. He broke his lease. He claims that the apartment upstairs was burglarized. So,
was it?
Yes, it was.
Were you there when it happened?
I was.
And
was downstairs.
he didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear anything?
I didn't hear anything. I told the officer at the time.
An officer came that night?
An officer came that night. I had been taking codeine cough medicine, prescription.
Okay.
I was passed out.
Now, so he tells you that you're not mature enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as far as the oil bill and all that, it now actually works the way you had wanted it, which is you do it, then I do it, because what you did was you only did 202. Mm-hmm. So now we're square on that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But he comes up to you and says you need to move upstairs because you're not mature enough to handle the whole.
That's correct. He was going to raise my rent to an appropriate amount.
An appropriate
We didn't discuss.
amount. And you said?
I said I was going to think about it, and I contacted him the next day. I said, I'm going to arrange for this fuel payment for this month, which I did, and that I would find someplace else to live because that wasn't agreeable, and
Okay.
it wasn't part of our original agreement.
Okay. Is that accurate? That
No.
you decided that
Well, why
you
would
would
he
you would
fill
move
up-
back in and that he should move upstairs?
I asked him to do that because I found that he was a little irresponsible with monitoring the furnace. It's an old furnace, and I had to make sure that somebody would be responsible to monitor the water levels, to make sure that, we wouldn't run out of oil heat. So I felt that I would be much more responsible in doing that because I lived in the house for many years.
Okay.
And I offered to pay for all his utilities. And where he's mistaken is, why would he put in 200 gallons after he was about to move out? He said,
I don't know. It sounds eminently fair since that's what the original. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. But
May I address that, Your Honor?
No, I don't care. All right. So now here's what my question is, though.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Why didn't you return a security deposit?
I actually gave him $600 of that, and because he put nothing in writing and he's supposed to give me 2 months' notice, as my lease agreement says, I felt that he really wasn't entitled to any of it because he
Wait,
didn't
2 months' notice of what?
to move out, to vacate the apartment.
Did I hear something incorrectly? Aren't you the guy who told him to move out?
No, I didn't tell him to move out. I told him to move upstairs. I didn't tell him to get out of my building.
What is he, a nomad? He just has to go where you tell him? He didn't rent upstairs. He rented downstairs. Are you kidding me?
So it would make more sense for him to move completely out of the building?
No, it would make more sense for you to move into the illegal apartment and let him live where he had a lease on. But who are you to decide? You're just a child. You're totally irresponsible. And I don't think you can handle the heating cost. That's great if you want to make this. It's your place. If you want to make that decision, it's great. But there's a cost associated with your call.
Well,
and the cost is not on him. Grow up. You're very immature. The cost is on you because you made the business call.
Ma'am, the
It's
rent
judged.
that he was...
Have I got it right? Is that what
No,
you
ma'am,
did?
you don't have it right.
It's judge. Did you not hear me the first time?
Judge.
Okay, good.
Okay.
You can't tell a guy to move out of his apartment and then say the guy didn't give me notice when he moved out
I
of his
thought it
apartment.
would be a lot more, less convenient for him to actually rent a truck and then
That's
look
not
for
the
an
point.
apartment.
The point is it's not your call. He rented a space. You are a landlord. Renting that space comes with rights and obligations for both of you. You don't get to be a parent and tell him, you're just a kid, move up upstairs, it should be just fine for you. That's not your call. Now, you're not only getting sued for the amount you didn't pay back, you're getting sued for double. You're getting sued for double. Why? Why are you suing for double?
I waited the 30 days as per the law. I have 30 days after the move-out date to return a security deposit or provide any kind of damages which I may have incurred. I have copies of my text messages going for a couple months, never a reply.
Did you ever send him a letter laying claim to the security deposit within the first 30 days after he moved out?
No, I thought that the lease agreement was enough evidence for that. And on page 6,
Okay, listen up, my friend. You are a landlord with the same rights and obligations as every landlord. And if you're going to be a landlord in New Jersey, I strongly suggest you read the landlord-tenant statute because it does apply to you. Okay?
I understand.
All right. And one of the things it says, he's not that immature. He's figured all this stuff out before court. One of the things it says is that a landlord must, if they want to take a security deposit, lay claim to it within 30 days and either send back the security deposit, or if they're laying claim to it, write a letter, certified, sent to the last known address, explaining why you're keeping it and itemizing how much you're keeping and why. And when you don't do it, you know what happens? You have no claim to the security deposit. Not only that, but the state of New Jersey, like many states, wants to make sure that landlords don't just unscrupulously and unfairly keep people's security deposits, so they give you a punishment clause. And they say that a court can double that if, in fact, it was wrongfully withheld. So all he has to do is prove to me that it was wrongfully withheld, the original, the $698 was wrongfully withheld, and that $698 becomes by law $1,396. Say something to me, anything, to persuade me that you had a right to keep a security deposit on a guy who you told to get out because the guy didn't give you notice. Well, say anything.
Judge, I didn't tell him to get out. You keep saying that, and I simply told him because...
Did you tell him to get out of the place that he had a lease on?
I
asked
him if he wouldn't mind taking the upstairs apartment.
And he minded.
Well, but he still needed to give me 2 months' notice.
No,
he should have said,
gave him notice
well, you know
when
what?
you told him to get out.
I'm giving you my 2 months today. I don't want the upstairs apartment, and it would have been over.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. You need to mature a little and understand that you are really, really wrong.
You're stealing my words. I use that towards Mr. Zimmerly.
I'm telling you that you're wrong. How can you even think that would be remotely fair and sane in a world with connected brain cells? No,
Okay.
in our planet, when a landlord tells a tenant that they have to move, okay, that you're moving back in and you can take the upstairs. They are not your child. They don't have to do that. Oh my gosh, $1,396 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, guys.
So the landlord gets slammed for double. Step on in here. What's going through your mind here now?
Well, you know, you win some, you lose some, and I felt that the judge, if that's what she felt is fair, that's fine with me.
It's fine. You don't mind coming to court and losing double damages, you know?
Nope.
You do that a lot?
No, not at all.
You've been in court before?
Yes, I have.
And you call the one with the robe what?
Judge or ma'am.
What?
Judge. She taught me a lesson.
So step right in here. Satisfied how this comes out?
Very
You knew the
satisfied.
law. You knew the law before you came in, it seems.
I knew the law, and I'm glad the law works.
Mm-hmm.
This is a victory for the court system.
What's your living arrangement now?
I got tired. This is essentially, it inspired me to never have a landlord again. So I at least moved into a bigger complex where there's a lot more official.
I
So,
like that. Good. All right, Harvey.
You know, it's the most common thing. People don't think about nailing down the utility costs. Get it in writing with a landlord. Who is responsible for what?